Hello children, so today is day 4 of our favourite 5, and again we're going to have another look at our story, Supertato. But today, as I'm reading the story, I'm going to pause and I'm going to ask you some questions from the story and see if you can remember some of that really exciting vocabulary that we talked about yesterday to help answer. So our title is Supertato. Some vegetables are frozen for a very good reason. Don't believe me? Then keep reading. It was night time in the supermarket and all was quiet. But, crash bang, something had escaped from the freezer. Something small and round and green. Something looking for trouble. Big trouble. Help, help, cried Carrot. I'm stuck to the conveyor belt. Ah, cried Broccoli. Someone's drawn on my face. Huh, cried Cucumber. Who was doing this? And was there anyone who could help these vegetables in distress? Now, can you remember, how do you think the vegetables were feeling when the pea played tricks on them? Did you maybe think they were feeling frightened? Mrs Doherty thinks they were feeling frightened. Supertato to the rescue. Do you remember, here he comes in his cape and his mask and his special belt. Now, what word do you think describes how Supertato looks in this picture? Well done. Did you say courageous or did you say brave? I think he's looking very brave. Nothing's going to stop him. He used his super speed. He used his super strength. He used a flannel and some soapy water. I know who's behind this, said Supertato. There's a pea on the loose. Oh no, not a pea! Everyone gasped. Now, all the others can't believe it, but Supertato, he's not afraid. How do you think he's feeling when he's talking to the vegetables about that pea? I think he's feeling strong. He's not afraid, is he? Yes, a pea, but I'm out of the freezer now and I'm never going back. Wah, wah, wah. And the evil pea ran off to commit more terrible crimes. Do you remember those poor fruit and vegetables? How do you think they're feeling being trapped under that basket? I agree. I think they were terrified. You're right. Time for a dip, little veggies. That's enough, shouted Supertato. He leapt towards the pea, but the pea popped out of his hands and vanished into thin air. Look here, you can see the pea. He's got a big grin on his face. How do you think he feels when he's escaped from Supertato? Great word. I think he was feeling quite clever too. He was very pleased with himself. Supertato set out on a super search. He crept through the cakes, he checked the cheese and snuck up on the beans. Then something caught his eye. Who's he seeing? The game's up, yelled Supertato. Kapow! But the pea bounced out of reach and onto a trolley. Supertato was just about to stop him with his super strength when the trolley crashed and he was thrown down into the icy depths of the freezer. Was this the end for Supertato? Look at his face. How do you think Supertato was feeling as he fell down into those icy depths of the freezer? I think he was very startled too. He was very shocked, wasn't he? Not quite. But the pea was off his trolley and lying in wait. You're finished, Supertato, he shrieked. Here he is, look, he's got the masher and he's coming at Supertato. But Supertato summoned up all his strength. Supertato's not going to let the pea get away with this. How do you think he was feeling? adamant. I think he was very adamant, wasn't he? I'm not going to let this pea stop me. And he ran for it. The pea nearly had him at the beans and closed in on him at the cheese. He had him cornered at the cakes. So much for Supertato, screeched the pea. You're about to be mashed potato. Surely this was the end for Supertato. Not today, my friend, said Supertato. Gotcha! Huh, said the pea. Do you remember? Supertato had the jelly, didn't he? That he caught the pea in. Oh, yes, said Supertato. I set my trap and you fell for it. Or should that be in it? And he grinned a super grin. Now, what word do you think describes how the pea was feeling when he was caught by Supertato in his jelly? I agree, I think he was very annoyed too. But look at Supertato. He wasn't feeling cross or annoyed. How do you think he was feeling? Look at his face. He was delighted, wasn't he? He was pleased that he had caught the pea. Supertato had saved the day. Take him away, he said. And the pea was marched back to the freezer where he belonged. This jelly tastes of pea, said Broccoli, and everybody laughed and cheered. And look, do you remember all the other vegetables and fruit had got big grins on their faces? They were pleased that the pea wasn't going to cause any more trouble. Do you think the vegetables, how do you think the vegetables were feeling about Supertato saving the day? I think they were grateful, weren't they? As if they were saying, thank you, Supertato, we couldn't have done it without you. So remember, some vegetables are frozen for a very good reason. Maybe you'd better go and check your freezer, just in case there's an escapee in your house. So thank you for listening so nicely to our story again, children, and for having a really good try at joining in using some of that exciting vocabulary. Now, Mrs Doherty's got one more job that I'd like you to do. I wonder whether you could design or even make your own superhero vegetable. You might use a carrot, or you might use a cucumber or a leek, whatever vegetable you've got at home. See if you can make yours into a superhero. But don't worry, if you haven't got any vegetables, you could maybe draw a picture. I look forward to seeing your super vegetables.